I'm posting shorts on Asian issues, and I'm doing this 5 days a week now. I started not long ago, and I've been getting a lot of pushback. A lot of the pushback, a lot of the commenters, they say, "Oh, you must hate white people," or "You never mentioned the shit that white people have to deal with, like stereotypes about Irish people drinking, or you're villainizing white people." So it's like trying to make me out to be like this white hating guy or whatever. Look, I grew up around white people predominantly, but I also grew around mixed race environments. My father was white. I'm mixed race. I look very Asian, but this is my perceived race. I'm mixed. I'm as much white as I am Asian, but I present as Asian, so I'm treated as Asian. So in me focusing, yeah, in an ideal world and an ideal life, I would cover every race's issues that has ever happened. Because yeah, like everyone has experienced discrimination at some point. But, and this is, I don't remember the exact quote, but Frederick Douglass, who is one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite orators, he was a black slave who worked his way through life and became a free man, and he spent his life advocating against slavery and for black human rights. He said that he does not hate white people. He hates the institutions of racism and slavery in place. And I want to make it clear that that's the way I feel. My criticisms towards white hierarchical power in society is not a direct attack on white individuals. And when I talk about things like white privilege, this is also not an attack on white individuals. It is analyzing systemic issues that have long-standing traditions of racial oppression that pervade even to this day. I'm not saying that every white person is bad or every white person lives an amazing life because of racism in the world. And I'm not saying that every white person is racist. However, prejudice is pervasive in global society. And if we look at the movement of peoples, it is pale-skinned peoples who have the most power, which is generally Western and European countries, which have expanded imperialistic powers throughout the world through war and trade. So it's my hopes that in the future we don't think about race anymore as anything but something interesting about someone else. And whatever, I feel like I'm tired of, and I understand that I don't have a lot of followers on social media, but I get high engagement on a lot of my posts, and some of my posts are more controversial than others because things that I see as basic opinion, like yesterday, I got a lot of pushback on a post I made in which I stated that racial preference is just internalized prejudice when it comes to selecting a partner. And to me, that makes perfect sense, because why else would you prefer a skin color over another? Unless you have a weird fetishized, like, desire for a certain shade of color, which is abnormal. It doesn't make sense from a human perspective. Then it's like anything in a vaguely humanoid shape that is coded in that color would be attractive. And that color, if it was really color you were attracted to, then it wouldn't be constrained to just natural skin colors. Maybe you have a fetish for neon purple, and you could spray paint a person neon purple and you would find them attractive. So it's really because skin color is associated with certain cultural traits or characteristics that you have been conditioned into believing that those people have. And sure, some people may have that, and it may even be widespread throughout certain cultures. But my argument is that it's not innate or inherent to those people. That culture and ethnicity is not bound to racial skin color or racial characteristics. Racial preference is not natural, it is conditioned. That is what I believe through my experience and observations. And it makes sense to me that there's a large amount of pushback on that idea because people have been conditioned to believe that it's acceptable, it's okay, it's preferred. When my perception, like growing up, hearing, yes, white guys saying that black women are loud, gross, ugly, fat, and then hearing weird things like Asian women have the tightest pussies, black women have the loosest pussies, Asian men have the smallest dicks, black guys have the biggest dicks. And look, I'm in a monogamous relationship with a white passing woman right now. So when I was not in a monogamous relationship, I was quite promiscuous. I have a large array of experience in dating different races and genders. Yes, every combination you can imagine, pretty much. And what I've found through my experiences is that none of those stereotypes are true. Absolutely zero of those stereotypes are true. Black men having big penises, no bigger, no smaller than any other race. Asian men having small penises, no bigger or smaller than any race. Black women having loose pussies, no tighter, no looser than any other race. Asian women having tighter pussies, no tighter or looser than any other race. Certain races having a certain smell, blah, 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 like a certain look, a certain feel, acting a certain way. In my experience, it differs from every individual. Sure, there may be, if you travel to a certain place where the people in a certain region eat a certain food or wear a certain perfume that's part of their culture, it can create like a smell or something like that. Maybe we can analyze like size differences between regions where malnutrition is more present versus an abundance of resources. Those kind of things are valid. But to propose that certain traits that separate people on a basis of inferiority and superiority or desirability versus undesirability is prejudice. And prejudice is the root of racism. So I'm tired of, I've just started blocking people, really. I've started blocking people who insult me, who, like, you know, people troll a lot online. People, and it's like, I did give people more due time before. I would go and comment and even argue with people online. But now I don't really see so much point of that, because when someone is hostile towards me, or they're subtly like degrading what I'm saying, or trying to mislead, or simply spreading what I see as outrageous or dangerous ideas, I just get rid of them and block them. Because if someone isn't approaching with an open mind to have a discussion, because that's what I try to do, even online, if someone raises certain points that makes me stop and reconsider my own ideas, then I'll acknowledge that, and I'll be like, oh, you've given me something to think about. Even if you don't agree with me, if you are respectful and present your ideas, I may disagree with you, but I'll acknowledge that. I'm done. I'm fucking sick and tired of, you know, people will just say you're a fuckhead, or cry more, or, you know, just, or there's straight up racist people who, you know, like ching chong, whatever. Like, I'm not going to deal with that. People who are commenting shit like that, they're just trolls, and they're not worth the time. And also, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing no matter what. So, that's it.